Here's your breakdown about why Donald Trump is a cult and why his followers won't leave. So, the first thing that is key to any cult is a charismatic cult leader. The leader is not only charismatic, but narcissistic. Say what you will about Donald Trump, he is definitely an entertainer. The other thing is people got used to seeing him in their homes for 15 seasons on The Apprentice. So they've developed parasocial relationship with him. So they feel like he's his friend. It's almost like, people felt the way that they did about Oprah. She was in their living room every afternoon for 23 years. It's no different than the way people feel about Donald Trump. Second thing to know about cult leaders is they're incredibly lazy. Yes, they'll bring the group together, but they don't want to do the work once the group starts to form. That's why they bring celebrities into the cults. Think of Scientology and you have Tom Cruise and John Travolta. You think about the Kabbalah Center and it's Madonna. We could go on and on and on and on and on. These celebrities are key because cults work in the same way as multi-level marketing or pyramid schemes do. That is, you have the one person on the top and all the other people bring in more people who bring in more people who bring in more people. And all of the people on the bottom don't get a whole lot out of it, but the person on the top gets everything. That's got Trump written all over it. And who's doing this work for Trump? But the entire Republican Party. They've all fallen into line. Now, he can't get celebrities. I mean, he can get Kid Rock and he can get Hulk Hogan, but he doesn't need those folks. He's got the Republican Party to carry his water for him. Cults provide an all encompassing ideology, and this is where MAGA does the heavy lifting. Now, ask anybody to define what it is, and nobody probably can. But they might give some kind of vague idea of a Leave It to Beaver kind of America that actually never existed in reality. But that seems to be what they want to go back to. It doesn't even matter that it's not real, as long as they have this ideology that they believe will solve all of their life's problems. QAnon, they target disenfranchised baby boomers or ones who thought they were disenfranchised. Cults lure people in with deception, and Trump is the master of this. By far, this is the thing he does better than anything else. So not only have people bought into MAGA, they have bought into believing that he is a really successful businessman and that he cares about them. Now, we know none of this is true, but just like P.T. Barnum, this kind of deception is what gets people in the tent. Cults use systems of control, which means they do things like tell you what to eat, what to wear, who to marry, who to have sex with. And certainly, this picture is worth 1,000 words. Cults also use systems of influence, meaning that they surveil members and they have them report on each other if they don't toe the line. People who have reached this point into the cults, they have gotten very far into the organization. They've given up their relationships with their friends and families. They have disengaged from anyone who doesn't believe what they believe. So relationship bridges have been broken, and it's very hard for them to go back to where they were. Also, it's difficult to leave because there is fear of retaliation. Trump is very well known for going after people who don't follow what he says to do. Finally, cults isolate their members, and it used to be that you'd have to have a compound somewhere that you could isolate people so they wouldn't interact with anybody who just didn't agree with them. But now social media does that for them. We are all separated into silos where we very rarely interact with people who don't agree with us. And of course, Trump has Fox News and X carrying his water for him in terms of the messages that he wants to send. But it's also social media. The algorithms are not only pushing us into groups of people who believe the same things that we do, they are increasingly feeding us more and more extreme content. And this is particularly true of some place like YouTube. All of this to say, Trump is not your normal politician. He has characteristics of a cult, which also in many ways mimic the characteristics of an authoritarian leader. the only point of explaining all of this to you is to say that there are some people that are so far into this cult, we don't have the time and the ability to get them to break free between now and the time of the election. So really, it isn't worth your energy and time to do that. But it is worth your time to understand the difference between who are the cult members who have been so sucked in that they can't hear, and the people who are persuadable. Just think of the Nikki Haley voters and the Nikki Haley voters who are now donating to Kamala Harris. As a betting woman, I'm going to bet there's a whole lot of independents out there that feel the same way. So use your time wisely. Hope this was helpful.